Everybody, it is the moment that we've been waiting for today. We've got some epic RX7 action. Yes, we are doing a rotary on the show, but before we jump into the video, just want to let you guys know about the all-new Cars of Mighty Car Mods Ultimate Edition. This is our new book, completely self-funded, self-published, over 250 pages of all of our favourite projects. There's stats, there's behind-the-scenes information, there's QR codes, and a whole secret section on our secret dailies and secret cars, but I'm going to find, Martin. There it is. That is what we are working on today. So jump onto the link down in the description or below and grab yourself one, order a copy, and we will, for a limited time, be autographing them. So we'll sign your copy, we'll send it to you anywhere in the world. Thank you for supporting the show. Grab one before they're gone. And now it's time for some RX7 action.
On this episode, we're working on my mad, no pistons, no rods RX7.
And a quick warning to all the purity police out there, we're about to make it better with technology.
Welcome to another episode of Mighty Car Mods. This is my RX7, my first rotary I've ever owned. I'm very excited. I love it. I think it looks awesome. It drives okay. It's been restored. It's got nice paint. It's got a lot of nice things going on.
Delicious.
It smells delicious, except for when it doesn't run, then it smells like nothing. And it doesn't run occasionally, particularly loves to do that on the highway at speed and just conks out.
I got your present, Martin.
Oh.
There you go.
What is that?
That's a special. I tried to match the colour of the car, but I didn't get it quite right.
Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, do this. Mighty no rods. That's
Check
mad.
out the back.
Oh, yes. No pistons, no rods, just rotors.
We have them available for a limited time. Very, very limited. They're not living on the shop. They're just a short time. So if you want to get one.
I'm going to double blue it if I put them on today. That's so cool, man.
Yeah, double blue it.
I'm going to double blue it.
There's nothing wrong with two blue things.
I'm going to double blue it.
Anyway, so today we're going to be making the car better with some technology. The boot is full of stuff that we have ordered, and we're going to be working up the front end. That's where the engine is, believe it or not. Martin, we're pulling the bonnet off.
Yep.
We're pulling old stuff on. Yep. We're pulling old stuff off.
Pulling old stuff.
We're pulling it off to get it on.
Sick. Thanks, man. That's amazing. Yeah, so we're basically going to just delete the carburetor. We're going to put it all into a specially marked box that says Purity Box and take the carburetor and stuff off. This is all reversible, of course. But what I have got that's quite interesting is, well, I'm going to show you in a second. I've got some good stuff.
The Purity stuff is not going in the bin, by the way. It's going in the Purity box.
Yeah, so that at some stage when this is released back into the wild, if someone just wants to go back to a high-tech 1982 carby setup,
that breaks down too often.
They're very welcome to do so, and it'll be a very easy job. This should be pretty straightforward. I don't know, I've never done it before, don't know a lot about rotors, but very keen to learn, so let's get into it.
Now, last time you saw this RX7, I was pushing it into the shed after it had stopped working because the carby in there doesn't work all the time.
Well, it's just not happy. Now, carby tuning is a whole different ball game, and it can be done very well, and it can work. I'm not disputing that at all, and for the purity police out there, like, carby your life, get into it. I prefer, personally, for my car, injection because, well, for a few reasons. One, I'm more familiar with it. Two, reliability in terms of how consistent it is. You can program it with a laptop, which is also super easy. You can set up sensors and sort of higher tech stuff in there to make sure everything is working well, and also feedback loops to consistently fine-tune the car and make it run really nice.
Just to clarify, so you're going to do some mods to your car to make it run better and make you like it more?
Yeah, so I can enjoy it more and drive it more. And the truth is, this is, and also a car that's 40 years old, I'm not going to daily drive this. Like, I'm going to jump in the K-Truck, I'm going to jump on a scooter, I'm going to jump in the mirror. Like, this is something that you're going to take out on the weekend. So, you know, it's not going to get driven for a week or 2 weeks at a time, and then it's going to get driven again. And there's also the time penalty of if you're constantly having to maintain your old carby-fed thing, which can be a lot of fun, and people also enjoy that side of it.
And the skill involved in that is actually epic.
It is.
It's kind of like all the different rocketry that's in there to make it work. I have a lot of respect for it, but I just don't know if we have the time for it.
Carby versus EFI debate's kind of boring, but what we are going to do today is EFI with a few little twists, and the biggest twist is this big twist that you're looking at right here, which we'll unbox in a sec, but I'll try not to chop it up. This is actually a replacement fuel tank. So the major difference between going from a carby system to an EFI system, it's worth noting, some of these did come out EFI, is that it's high pressure fuel system. So currently you've got an old tank in there with a low pressure pump that just sort of pushes 2 or 3 or 4 PSI of fuel into the bowl, and the carby goes, thanks very much, and sucks it in.
A 40-year-old tank. So by sucking it in, we actually don't know what's getting sucked in. So that's the first advantage with swapping to a new one.
The brilliant thing about these cars is there's so much awesome aftermarket support. I got a bunch of this stuff from Pack Performance, which is a shop that's local in Sydney they've just done drag cars and Rotary since the beginning of time, and they're just
they've done proper hectic times.
Yeah, and the side effect of all that development is they've come up with some cool, nice mods that don't ruin the purity of what the car looks like, which is a replacement fuel tank that's high pressure EFI, ready to go, brand new, completely clean, and you can just plug it in, it bolts straight in, and away you go.
And easier, of course, to get a high pressure fuel pump in that rather than running an external one, which is just going to be whining.
The old school way you did 20 years ago, if you're going to go EFI or turbo EFI or something like that, is you'd have an external pump, you'd feed that pump, and then it would sit there and make a noise, which was kind of cool, I guess. But this means we can have a quiet pump. We don't have to have all this extra stuff outside the car. And then we've got an injection manifold, some gaskets, and a few other bits and pieces that we put together, take the carby stuff off, put it in the purity box, and whack this stuff in. So we're going to unbox it and have a bit of a look through.
Martin, so basically what we're doing is we're converting it. We're converting it from carby to EFI.
EFI conversion, carby to EFI conversion.
Yes.
Exactly.
And what is the first process, Martin?
First thing we're going to do is unbox our stuff and make sure we've got all the parts we need. I am new to rotaries in terms of working on them, so it's all metric stuff because it's all JDM. So that's easy enough. We're going to pull it apart, have a bit of a look at what's going on in there, and then we're going to slowly bolt our new stuff on, and then right at the end we've got to put a computer on it so it'll run, and then just drive it. It will may make a little bit more power, it may not. That's not really what it's about. It's about turning the key in every time it's consistently working.
This sticker here is going onto the purity box.
If you want to make your own purity box at home, you can buy our sticker.
We have those stickers. We've also got the no purity stickers. There we go, Martin.
Yes.
Everything that comes off is going in there, and we'll keep it in a very safe place.
All right, let's unbox some of this stuff and see what we're dealing with, man. Oh, that's pretty.
Look at that.
That's cool, isn't it? So 12A, so that adapts from the original face of the rotor housing, or whatever you call it. I'm going to get this so wrong, all these words. Then that goes there, and you've got your 4 injectors, and your fuel rails, and your filter. And you've got a throttle cable linkage that attaches to the factory throttle, and away you go. That's pretty cool, eh?
Dude, let's install it.
Look at that. No, I can't do the noise anymore. Maybe I'll just let the car do it. Burp, burp. Sick. It's worth mentioning, and it probably looks reasonably obvious for how substantial this is, that rotary stuff is not exactly cheap. It went through its cheap phase, and then it's just skyrocketed again as the cars have become more rare and more valuable. Like a good RX3 can be 6 figures.
Yeah.
You know, and there's people doing 7-second quarter miles in those cars that have been built over years. People keep them. Like so many times I hear people who have rotaries. Yeah, I bought it when I was 16 for $1,000 and now it is worth 200 grand and does 6-second quarter miles, whatever it is. So the stuff is a little bit more expensive, but also the quality of it's really good. And the R&D's been done that this is like a fun job. Just to stick this in the car is fun. It's not about fighting stuff. It's not about broken stuff that doesn't work or never gets here. So
I think as well, Marty, it's about the amount of customization versus the customers that you have. Because 180SX stuff, of course, has got really, really expensive. You want wings, you want body kits. It's thousands and thousands of dollars. But there's also tens of thousands of people that have them or more, and you look at how many people have a 180 compared to a car like this, there's way less of them, which means the market is smaller, which means that companies like this are going to have to charge more. But plus, look at the quality of it.
Totally.
Look at it. It's amazing.
And so if you want to buy a body kit for your Kia Sorento from 2010, it's going to be cheap. What I'm trying to say is this is the Kia Sorento of 1994.
What are you talking about?
In 1994,
that is not the...
this was a Kia Sorento.
No. You don't say that.
I triggered him so good.
You don't say that your RX7 is a Kia Sorento of the early 80s. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Are you just being a dick? What are you talking about? Oh man, people are triggered, and it's not just me. It's not just me, it's everyone. No, it's not.
Everyone's like, yeah, of course it's a Kia Sorento.
You'll be quoted on that, man. You'll be quoted on that. It'll be all over the Reddits. It'll be all over the Instafaps.
Is that just look at it. Just let's rip all the pure stuff out and
stick it on a Kia Sorento.
That's how can you say that's not? Look at that, man. That's purity personified in a thing. Look at it. I love that.
See, here's the thing, Martin. Your electric-powered dangle might be faster than mine. I admit that.
Yes.
Except you've now lost. How many of your bolts have you lost?
An ultra rare bolt.
Did you lose it?
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
I think
See,
it's
whereas
in there
me, I'm still.
Did you do that on purpose?
No. Please hold. Thank you.
Reverse opening bonnets do look cool, but they get in the way, so we're going to remove it. Then a fender cover is going on to protect the nice paint, and we can start to remove the old parts and gently place them in the purity box.
So over that side of the rotary engine is all the fuel action, and in front of me on this side is all the ignition action. So it's super simple, and you can see how small the engines are. And that's like 85 kilowatts right there, which is pretty cool for a 40-year-old car. What I don't like, it really doesn't upset me, but I'm not that big a fan of, is all this, like just random plugs that go nowhere and stuff that's been like, what's that? And like, what's that? And what's all that? And what's all this? And some of it's emissions gear, which was an early way of making sure that they did pass emissions, which for this era of cars is kind of important. That was a big deal back then. We're going to be able to tidy all that up anyway, just by more accurately controlling our fuel injection. So we can pull the carby off. It'll probably try and spill a bit of fuel. We'll see if we can empty the bowl, drain the bowl. I've clamped off the fuel supply here, and we just basically pull the carby off and bolt up our injection manifold, and then work out where all the wires and everything goes once that's done. Alright, so I've disconnected the fuel lines. There's two, super simple. Also under here is some tiny little clear tubes with what look like vacuum lines. But actually, as I understand it, that is the oil injection system. And in rotary land, it's a thing of whether you inject oil into the engine to sort of help lubricate the apex of the seals and lubricate the whole thing, or you can premix your fuel, which is where you put like two-stroke, you put the oil in the tank, and then it just basically sends it up and does it that way. These are little oil injection lines. I don't actually know what happens with that. I assume that just gets deleted. So we don't have any instructions for this. We're just sort of working it out as we go, but we're going to pull that whole carby off and then start from there, work our way back.
It's clear that this carby has been altered more than a few times over the life of this car. There's various emission control parts, vacuum circuits and other random mechanical devices that have been disabled, deleted or wrapped in electrical tape, probably on the side of the highway after the thing is broken down again. Still, there isn't a great deal connecting it to the rest of the car, so with the choke, throttle, fuel lines and electricals disconnected, it's ready to lift up and off.
Coming off.
Whoa, there
That's
you go.
it.
Look at that. There's a lot going on there, isn't it? A lot of mechanical stuff going on there.
Humans are amazing, man.
They are. It's incredible.
You get a bunch of liquid, squirt it in, put it on fire, and then you get to ride along in a little machine.
And not only that, they
insane.
dug that out of the ground, turned it from like a dust ore into steel, then into that, and then added some liquid, and then we drove to our, drive to your girlfriend's house.
That's insane. All right, into the purity box.
Mazda, just like lots of other manufacturers at the time, made a few changes to their carby setups over the years, and not all of them great for performance. It's worth mentioning that at the time these cars were being produced, emissions and fuel consumption were under the spotlight much more than they'd been in years past. Just like today, as technology's improved, Mazda found ways to make the cars more smog-friendly by changing the secondaries from mechanical to vacuum so they could more finely tune the engine. Mechanical and electronic fuel injection had been invented, but wasn't common on all cars yet because a well set up carby could deliver good results, but they slowly grew in complexity and turned into the kind of thing you're looking at right now. When fuel injection did become cheap enough to stick on your middle of the road sports car, manufacturers jumped at it because they had more control. Control over drivability, control over power, and of course, fuel consumption and emissions.
Maybe this is the point we find out that we're meant to drain the radiator first before doing this mod, Martin.
Probably. There it goes.
There we go.
It's a sneaky bolt. This one. Oh, well, there used to be a bolt there. Well, there was a bit of intake manifold, which luckily we don't need anymore, attached. And now it's gone skis. And it looks like on this one, coolant runs through the intake manifold, and being rotary newbies, we didn't realise that on our new one, which is blanked off, that exists. So that's why it leaked a little bit of coolant, but luckily nowhere near our actual ports, just down the side of the engine and onto our floor.
Couple of Bunnings bolts holding that on. And another one does not held on at all.
Well, that can go in the purity bin, my friend.
Not the purity bin, it's the purity box, man.
Sorry.
You have to respect the purity box.
I've learnt rotary things already.
Well, I didn't know that there was coolant that went through the inlet manifold.
No. And I don't have a manual for one of these, although it seems like maybe it would be a good idea, but I've never seen that before. Just giant O-rings. That said, according to a bucket, so we're all good now. And yeah, tidied up. Also discovered there's O-rings.
Yes.
That need to be replaced, which I don't have, so I've got to order some O-rings so I can install my new one.
Delicious.
Oh, that's off its head good.
So,
That is hectic.
what's next?
Need new O-rings.
Oh.
Go get some O-rings?
Are we stopped now until we get them?
Maybe. I don't know.
Good.
Now we should look at the fuel tank too.
Oh yeah, we can do that.
Work out how that works. I don't know if that's just slapping her out or there's like suspension and stuff in the way. We'll work it out
Okay,
after lunch.
cool.
It's not essential to upgrade your entire fuel tank when changing from carby to EFI. On our 240Z, we went with a drop-in pump system that you drill into your original tank, and that worked quite well. A new tank solves a few potential issues: more capacity, completely clean of 40 years of built-up crud, and a quiet internal pump with the possibility of adding more later on. It also has consistent fuel delivery from the fuel pickup being in a baffle that helps prevent fuel starvation.
Okay, so our fuel tank is completely full of fuel. On some models of these cars, maybe the American ones, I'm not sure, they have a drain plug. This one doesn't. The tank also looks like it's been recoated in terms of just had a coat of paint. I don't know internally what it looks like, but it's not too bad under there. But I am going to try and drain it out as best I can, because trying to bench press 50 kilos worth of fuel plus the weight of the tank, plus getting covered in fuel the whole time is not fun. I've done it before and I don't want to do it today. So all I'm going to do is basically hot wire the fuel pump so that it pumps up through the lines and put that into a jerry can. Yeah, it's going to take 15 minutes or so to pump out, but still better than getting covered in petrol. Sorry.
Dude, what is... That's from a farm, isn't it?
Yeah. Dude, this has been in a barn or a farm. I reckon based on the Ks and all this stuff, I reckon it's a country car someone's dragged out of a barn or their grandma's house, painted and sold.
Yeah, because this is like hay or something. I mean, someone out there is going to know exactly what this is, but that looks... doesn't look like
Looks
the stuff that you find in
agricultural.
your car from the city.
Definitely looks agricultural, doesn't it? Here's the plan. I'm going to chop the fuel lines because we don't need them and they're old and they're easily replaced if this tank's ever reused.
Fuel's going to go down your arm as soon as you chop that.
Well, I'm going to try and catch it. Hopefully it won't, because we've pumped out as much as we can.
No, you're still going to get fuel in you, man.
Yeah, probably. But we're taking a fuel tank out. That's kind of guaranteed.
Yeah.
Undone the filler neck, undone the little wiring loom thing.
And I've loosened the strap just to make sure it's not going to snap.
And there's two
As in
straps.
the bolt's not going to snap.
So we should be able to just chop, undo.
lower it down. It's
and
going to be
go.
seamless, mate. It's going to be like a ballet.
Here we go.
There it is.
Dude, zero fuel down my arm. Only
Well
like
done.
a little bit on my safety goggles.
All right.
One more, here we go. Chop. Oh, that wasn't a very neat chop. Chop.
That one's good. Last
this one?
chop, mate.
Chop, that's a breather, so that should be okay.
Great.
All right,
All right.
we're not connected by rubber anymore.
I'm going to undo this one here.
Okay, we're coming down.
Yeah.
Still got so much fuel in it.
Hold on. Can we let it?
I'm good on my side. Oh, hang on. I'm good. Oh, yeah, I'm good on my side, mate.
Yep, let it come down.
Wait,
A bit more.
Hang on, it's caught up. Oh, hang on. One more thing connected to it. I don't know what that is, or it didn't chop through, maybe. Boom.
Oh, watch
Yeah,
out,
dude.
on the fuel tray. There we go.
Done. That's awesome. I've got
Great.
so much dirt down my shorts leg.
There's more stuff on it. Oh, dude, that's spider's web that's got blue paint on it.
It's got primer on it.
Look at that.
I'm really appreciating how these cars are built though. Like everything's got like steel splash. Like it's all metal. There's no plastic stuff rotting away under there. It's all like metal guards and fuel filter covers and yeah. It's good, isn't it?
It's fancy.
I'm liking it. But this can go away now. We'll
Can
clean
go
up
in the
under there a
bin.
bit. There's no rust
in
under
the
there.
purity bucket.
The purity bucket.
I'm going to try and get rid of as much crud from under the car as I possibly can to prevent it falling on us later when we fit the new tank. Then back up the front, I'm tapping in some Welch plugs into the intake manifold coolant circuit. The new manifold doesn't have a provision for this, so it needs to be blocked off either with O-rings or these freeze plugs, which can be gently tapped in by standing on your engine.
So the original air filter's off, the carby's off, the intake manifold's off, the old fuel tank is off. They're all in the purity bin.
So what needs to happen next is need to get some adapters to go from that fuel tank into the factory hard lines, and then some new hoses up front into the new injection system, and also work out what ECU stuff we need and wiring we need to make it all run. So gonna order a bunch of bits and come back to this in a couple of days' time. And let the Rotary No Rods continue on Mighty No Rods. You can get a Mighty No Rods shirt right now. Click the thing.